The most satisfying part about diving deeper into random anime is finding hidden gems. Also, it's funny when you have that one anime in your watch list that you keep pushing to the side, but then when you finally watch it, you finish it with amazement. Then you ask yourself, man, why didn't I watch this show sooner? That's what happened to me when I finally wiped off the dust and gave this anime a shot. But before we go further, I'll give you a quick synopsis. A young girl named Chihaya is content with life as she grows up in the background of her older sister, who is taking all of the shine. She doesn't really have any dreams until she meets this boy, who's a young transfer student who introduces her to competitive Karuta. Alright, well, I wasn't looking forward to this, but I'm going to put my knowledge to the test with some more specific notes to explain what Karta is. It's basically a card game that consists of 100 cards with a poem printed on it. It's mostly a one-on-one game where there's a reader and a judge just in case you have beef with the person. They basically split the deck in half, keeping 50 cards and the other 50 are excluded from the game. Which means if they are red, they are considered dead cards. Each player then randomly selects 25 cards and lays them out face up in their territory. A player's territory is the space in front of the player. Officially designated as 87 centimeters wide, containing 3 rows of cards and separated from their opponents by 3 centimeters. Players are then given 15 minutes to memorize all of the 15 cards in place, and during the final 2 minutes they are allowed to start practicing their strikes at the cards. The game then starts with the reader reciting an introductory poem that's not a part of the 100 poems. This gives the players a chance to vibe with the reader's voices, so they know when to swipe for a card. After the intro poem, the reader draws a card and recites the poem. As soon as the player can recognize the poem, they brace to find and touch the card if it is in the territories. Honestly, there's way more to it, but I don't think anyone will find this description of the game interesting. Also, I'm describing it as what I saw in the show, so if there's anything I got wrong, my bad. The closest game that comes to mind is Egyptian War, since it involves you slapping the cards first so you can win the game, but obviously it's played way differently. So why is this important? Well, it's the main focal point of the show that makes it what it is. Honestly, I went into the show blind, so I had no idea how the game was played, and I knew right away that it would be easy to learn since most animes are good at that. I did the exact same thing for anime such as Haikyuu, March Comes In Like a Lion, and the first show that I talked about on this channel being Shou Genroku Rakugo Shinju. So yeah, you don't need to care or know anything about the game to get into this show. The main reason why I got hooked was seeing the drive in each character to succeed in this game. Also, watching each character develop more brought interest to me, the viewer. It's kind of cool to see things from the past connect to the future and weigh on a character because they had some regret or went through some bad circumstance. It would dictate their moves or decision making because of the mental battles that they have to go through. Anyway, going back to the synopsis, Chihaya is captivated by Arata's passion for this game, since he strives to become the best in Japan. She then falls in love with the game and decides to join the Shiranami Society. She then forms a trio with Arata and the dickhead who I love being Taichi, where they play together. That is until they have to split up for different reasons. The anime then pushes forward to high school, where Chihaya is more involved in Karta, and has developed a lot of skill with all the practice she put in. Her goal is to establish a Karta club and strive to get to the nationals. So with the help of Taichi, after they reunite, they scout for members who will have the same passion for the game as her. Anyway, before I push forward, let's get the boring stuff out of the way. It's pretty good, even for the first season being made in 2011. It's still solid. I love the imagery in certain scenes for different cards, so you get more of an inside look at what makes that certain card special or specific. Then sometimes they'll express what it feels like to play certain players using imagery. For example, if a player gets inside their head too much and closes himself off, the show uses great ways to dictate how that feels. I won't dive more into it without spoiling too much, but yeah, it's still solid. I personally think the OSTs are underwhelming for how good the show is. It's your typical music choices that don't really stand out. But I don't know if this counts, but when the people recite the cards, I actually grew interested in it, since they are in use for a lot of the series. I learned a lot of things, from them reciting the poems such as rhythm, proper timing, and how you say the poems to proper pronunciation. Also, the swiping of the hands and the banging on the floor when they go to grab a card makes the environment more inclusive. Anyway, all in all, it does its job. She's your typical lead character who strives to better herself. At first I didn't pay much mind to her, but as you see her grow up, you begin to love her. This is kind of a spoiler, but it's at the beginning of the show, so I don't think it's that important. But yeah, he's kind of an asshole when he's younger. But I will say he will make up for it throughout the show, so I know he will grow on you. He's your typical under-the-radar character who surprises the crowd. He's the main reason Chihaya and Taichi strive to get better. Also, seeing how his life progressed was really interesting to see, and I hope with more seasons, he finally achieves his goals. He's dope, but gets annoying at times since he gets in his head. At first I was like, fuck this guy, but seeing his analysis and knowledge go to work throughout the show was really cool to see. She's the main reason I got more interested in the specific opponents since she was a nerd in the subject. I can keep going, but you get the point. There really isn't a character I don't like besides his mom and her sister. Anyway, let's shift to my final thoughts. With the combination of great characters, awesome motives, and linear plot, it's easy to get hooked onto the show and binge it really quickly. My advice is to watch until you get past them growing up, since I feel like you need to fully get used to the characters, the game itself, and other little details to truly dive into the show. Yes, the show might not look appealing to you, especially if you're a newer anime lover, but please don't let that deter you away from this great ass story. I feel that there's a great balance with everything in the story. They have that driving factor down to a T, so if you like sports anime / tournament arcs, then you might get hooked on it. Then it has slice of life / school elements for the people that are into those genres. Also, I think the humor in the show isn't overplayed and it's placed at perfect parts in the story. Anyway, it's a great ass anime and deserves your attention, so yeah, give it a shot. I hope you enjoyed the video and give the show a shot. I apologize for the bad scheduling for my videos. I keep getting fucked up with copyright issues since I'm using footage from the show, so it's hard to stay motivated on editing while being busy with adulting stuff. I'll try to be more consistent so I can deliver more content to you, so please like and subscribe to give me more feedback since it helps a lot. Well, that's everything I need to say, so peace.